Hi everyone, welcome back to another tutorial on journal bearing. So long time ago we already created some video lecture series regarding the design of journal bearing. I'll put the link for the playlist under this video. You can go through that if you need any basic information regarding the journal bearing or generally the types of bearing that we oftenly used in industries. And this video in particular, we will be discussing about the general terms in hydrodynamic journal bearing, moreover, the design parameters of journal bearing. So after this video, I will be publishing another couple of videos regarding the design procedures or how you can design a journal bearing for your requirements. So before we begin with the design process, we have to be aware of certain terms that we commonly use with journal bearing. Or other words, these are the parameters that we are using to design a journal bearing. So as you are aware, journal bearing is simply a shaft supported with a cavity filled with lubricant. So here you can see in journal bearing, the one thing that you have to put in your mind, we have a cavity that is the bearing, and this is the bearing, and the shaft is within that cavity. So the name of shaft inside that cavity, what we call as journal. When I refer journal, what I mean the portion of shaft within the cavity. So the journal is nothing but the shaft within the bearing. That's all. So in journal bearing, we have these two components, and let's go through the important parameters of design. So don't forget to check my previous video regarding how it works and what are the phenomenon happens inside a hydrodynamic bearing. Okay, let's jump into the factor. The first one that you should remember, we denote it as capital D, which means the diameter of that bearing. So the diameter of bearing here I'm marking, that means the entire diameter of the bearing. So we use capital D for that. And the second thing is small d, that is the diameter of the journal. As I said, journal means the portion of shaft, that means the diameter of shaft itself. So I can denote this as small d. And lastly, the length L. So these are the major dimensions. The length L means the length of shaft within the bearing. So maybe I can use this picture to explain how you can find L. So literally I can mark this on this picture. Your L will look like this. So this much. So this will be the length of bearing. So these are the major three factors that you should consider, and then there is some ratios that we are using to determine how a bearing should work or how it looks like. So what are those ratios? Let's go for that. The first one, the diameter clearance. The diameter clearance means it is the difference between the diameter of bearing and the journal. So mathematically speaking, it's very easy. We can mark it as C. That means the diameter of bearing minus the diameter of journal. So D minus D. Here you can see capital D and small d. If you take the difference, that is we call the clearance or the diametral clearance. So talking about the diameter, if you subtract in between diameters of bearing and journal, you will get C. And sometimes we call the radial clearance. When you call it as a radial clearance instead of diameter, you have to consider the radius of bearing minus the radius of journal. So instead of diameter, you can use radius also. So that we can also write diameter minus the diameter of journal divided by 2. The same thing, or it is the half of the diameter clearance. So it's a pretty simple, straightforward scenario there. And we can go for the third one, the diametral clearance ratio. So this is very important when you design any journal. You have to find this value to choose certain things. So what is this? It is the ratio of diameter clearance to the diameter of journal. This is the thing that you have to remember, Don't confuse in between. On the numerator, what we have, the diameter clearance. And on denominator, it should be the diameter of journal. Remember, not the bearing, diameter of journal. So basically what we can write, the clearance means capital D minus small d, all divided by the diameter of the journal. So this ratio will be very useful whenever you design the journal. Okay, the fourth one is eccentricity. As you know, the eccentricity is something not in the center. That is basically eccentricity. But in case of journal bearing, here you can see you have a bearing. And the journal or the shaft is moving within the bearing. So this one is our shaft or the journal. You can see it is marked here. And here you can see the center of bearing. They marked it as O dash. But the center of the journal or the shaft inside, it is here O. And here you can see there is a difference in between them. So this difference is called as eccentricity, or usually it marked as E. So E is the difference between the centers of the journal and the bearing. So why we need that eccentricity? Because we have to generate hydrodynamic action within the cavity. So we need that eccentricity to develop some pressure inside that cavity. If you want to learn more about that, check the playlist in the description. So that is eccentricity. It's very useful. And the fifth one, minimum oil film thickness. That means here you can see I marked it here. You can see it here. Whenever the bearings start the hydrodynamic action, the shaft begin lift slowly within the cavity, and after some time it will avoid direct contact between the surface, the inner surface of bearing and the outer surface of the shaft. And if you want that happen, you have to make sure there is a minimum gap in between the shaft and the inner part of that bearing. Basically, minimum oil film thickness means the oil film thickness that we have to achieve to make a bearing works without contact. That means the hydrodynamic action occur once you reach the minimum oil thickness. So the importance of minimum oil thickness there, you have to select the oil or the lubricants inside the cavity according to the ability of the oil to produce a minimum thickness. Imagine you select an oil which cannot produce the minimum oil thickness, it cannot make a hydrodynamic action. Hence, there will be high friction within the cavity and the bearing will fail eventually. So that is the importance, and you will get more detail when we come to the design process. So the sixth one is attitude or eccentricity ratio. This is another kind of ratio apart from the clearance ratio. Here you can see it is simply eccentricity divided by the radial clearance. So it can also written as eccentricity. We know that it is C1 minus H0. So you can also written like this. So the importance of this equation is usually if you want to find the value H0, here you can see H0, that is the minimum oil thickness. If you have the eccentricity ratio or attitude, you can find H0 from the given graphs from data book. So this is the importance of this equation. And lastly, before we begin with the design, you have to be aware of these terms, short and long bearing. So usually students are getting confused about these statements on the questions whenever they are seeing it. So let's take this in this manner. So consider this is our bearing. We have a length, and here this will be the diameter of that bearing. So here, remember, whenever we are talking about the length of journal and the diameter of journal, we have to take it as the projected area of that journal. That means, imagine there is a shaft inside this. Let me take that shaft out. So this will be our journal, Journal is nothing but the part of shaft within that cavity. So here, if you want to take L and D, and this part we call the length of journal, and it's obvious this is the small d, that is the diameter of that journal. So if you take that one, and whenever we discuss the L and D, we often find the area as well. So when you take L and D, remember you have to consider the cross section of this shaft. So if you take the cross section, especially longitudinal cross section, you can consider like this. This will be the length and this will be D. So if you want to take the area, that will be LD. So this is very important parameters in journal design. Now come back to these definition. What is short and long bearing? So let me take the cross-sectional area or the projected area of that bearing, as I said, and we know that this will be the length and this will be the diameter of that journal. So according to the definition, we have three categories. The first one, you know that when L by D ratio is greater than 1, and the second category when L by D ratio is less than 1. These are the two major categories, and the last one, it's a case other than this. It's obvious, you know that L by D equal to 1. So in first category, whenever the L by D ratio is more than 1 or greater than 1, we call it as long bearing. Okay, and the second, when L by D is less than 1, we call it as short. And the third type, when L by D equal to 1, that means obviously when length become equal to the diameter of journal or shaft inside that bearing, we called this as square bearing. So these are the three types. Now the next major things in journal bearing design is the bearing modulus or bearing characteristic number. So I'm not going to explain this thing again. You check the I button or in the description, there is an exclusive video regarding what is the importance of bearing characteristic number in journal bearing design. However, I would like to give you a glance. The bearing characteristic number is nothing but the ratio of Zn by P. Here Z means the dynamic viscosity of oil or lubricant that we are using, N stand for the rotational speed in RPM of that journal, and the P represent the pressure inside the bearing. So if we have this ratio, this is a magical number where you can find whether your journal can produce a frictionless dynamic situation or not. So that will be evaluated through this investigation called McKee's brothers or McKee's investigation. And from here you can see there is a scenario here where you find the minimum value for coefficient of friction. So we have to find when the friction between the journal and bearing is minimum, and according to that we have to select or we have to adjust these values Z and P and this ratio D by C, and the third one the L by D ratio. So all these three adjustment depends upon you need a minimum value of friction. So I already told you, check the link in the description or the I button. There is an exclusive video regarding bearing characteristic number. It's very important that you have to get understanding why we are taking these values. So go and check that video before you proceed further for designing journal bearing. So remember this value, bearing characteristic number and bearing modulus, whenever you're getting the minimum friction, is very important when you consider designing a journal. And now the last major things that I would like to share is Sommerfeld's number. So this is a kind of a dimensionless number, and that is available on every data books. I'm not going to explain how this calculation can be done. Rather, for a basic engineering student, you just need a couple of equations. There is two types of Sommerfeld's number that you can find. The first type is without side leakage. Imagine there is no leakage happening within the bearing. Then you can use this equation, and in case of side leakage you have to use these equation. So here we have variables like R by C, Zn by P, and this Kw. All these values will be available in your data books, and you can make use of this number. The reason that we are finding this number, by using this Sommerfeld number, you can find many other variables. That means if you calculate this value and you put this value into certain standard graphs, you can extract other information. So you will get more details of how you can use this number whenever you're coming into design process of journal bearing. So hopefully next video will be how you can design a journal bearing with given data. So please be with my channel, and I will put next video as soon as possible. So as usual, thank you for watching. See you again.